Greetings and salutations, viewers. Welcome to another episode of Game Break, an ongoing series where me and my crew take a break from our creative endeavors and play some video games. I'm Charles, coming to you today with another episode of Everlasting Summer. Now, last time round, we managed to get to this weird pioneer camp, meet presumably most of the characters we're going to be playing with for an undetermined amount of time, and not much else. So, let's see what we're in for. Load the game. I was having a dream. It seemed like I was in some kind of vacuum, but nothing but nothing around me. But not only around, I was the only creature in the universe. As if the universe had returned to a state of singularity right before the Big Bang. And something was just about to happen. Suddenly, I heard a voice. I could not make out the words, but it sounded familiar. The voice was whispering something gently, as if soothing me. And then I realized. It was the voice of that strange girl from the bus. The girl from the dream. But what is she trying to tell me? Who is she? Hey, it's morning. I woke up. Bright sunlight struck my eyes. It was almost noon. After stretching lazily on the bed and yawning, I started to recall the previous day. In a few seconds, all its events passed before my eyes. The bus, the camp, the local inhabitants. No, that's just wrong. Not this whole situation, not me being here. It was wrong by default. My attitude towards what was happening was wrong. Because yesterday I fell asleep here just like that. And before that I chatted nicely with the local pioneers, even managed to crack a few jokes. How could I act like that in such a situation? I should be frightened, startled by every little rustling, should avoid all contact with the potentially hostile creatures. The last day's events were getting hazy, like I had a hangover. This really feels like the morning after a heavy drinking party. Yesterday's natural, flawless, absolutely normal conduct becomes a nightmare in the morning. A grotesque illustration from the Divine Comedy. Yes, it's just like that. And I can't change the past now. Then again, I had probably assessed the situation and was acting accordingly. I glanced around, trying to figure out whether I had been thrown somewhere else, but Olga Dmitrievna's cabin looked the same as yesterday. Everything seemed to be in its place, except for a pioneer uniform, which was hanging from the bed head. I fumbled with it in distrust and tried it on. At least this is better than walking around in winter clothes. Wish I could see myself, that I look like a clown. Well, there is a mirror right there on that thing. And for that, I needed a mirror. I can see it in the picture right here. It's right off to the side. At least a tiny one. No, there's a good sized one right there. I finally found one on the wardrobe door. Holy! You have no eyes! That would be disconcerting. I looked at the newfound pioneer and jumped away in surprise. There was some teenager on the other side of the mirror. He resembled me, but he wasn't me. Where did the weak stubble go? Where were the bags under my eyes? The slouch? That deathly fatigue on my face? It seemed that I had not been thrown back in time or into a parallel reality, but instead had simply changed bodies with someone else. Right, that's real simple. Such things happen every day. I took a closer look at this stranger, and only then I realized that it actually was me. It just wasn't today's me. Maybe the one from between my school and university years. Well, at least that's something. There you go. The person in an extreme situation did fail to notice the elephant in the room after all. But the camp leader noticed it, and last night she told me off for addressing her without proper respect. Ah, screw that. I doubt my appearance affects anything else. If the clock was not lying, breakfast was long over. Oh well, I'll try to find something in the canteen. It worked out well yesterday with Slavia, didn't it? Those memories made me smile involuntarily. The sun was shining brightly outside. A light breeze was blowing. A beautiful summer day. I had not felt so good in the morning for several years. All problems were gone, vanished into clouds that were white as snow. Olga Dmitrievna came out of nowhere. Oh, hi.
Good morning, Semyon.
Morning. I smiled, doing my best to show that, no matter what, my morning was indeed good.
You only arrived yesterday, so I decided not to wake you up, but breakfast. Never mind. Here, take this.
She handed me something wrapped in paper. Judging by the oily stains, there had to be sandwiches inside. Oh, thank you.
Now go wash yourself.
I was about to leave.
Wait a second.
Olga Dmitrievna quickly ran into the house and came out to shove a small bag into my hands. Inside it I found a toothbrush, soap, a small towel, and something else. I did not look too closely.
A pioneer should always be clean and tidy. Let me do your neckerchief properly this first time. Yours is askew.
Oops.
You should do it yourself once you learn how to.
Do we have to? I am going to wash myself now. Yeah, right. It could get hooked on the tap and strangle me.
Fine. Later then. And don't forget about the lineup.
The what now? Pencils, paper, drawing lines. You don't forget such things. What lineup?
What do you mean, what lineup?
She frowned.
It's Monday today.
Weird. By my approximation, it should have been Sunday. Then again, a shift in the day of the week is hardly the worst thing.
Usually we have lineups early in the morning before breakfast, but it's Monday today, so we are having it at 12 o'clock. Don't be late.
All right, but where?
At the square. Where else?
There was no reason to argue. I headed to the bathing place. Oh, it's open. Lovely. I knew I could forget about separate showers and toilet, but at the sight of this malfunctioning symptom of decaying socialism, a funny turtle with a tin shell, paw taps, and a ceramic belly, I felt sick. I was not a squeamish person, but nevertheless, standing there I realized that there was still some minimal level of habitual comfort which I found it troublesome to do without. It's often like that, when you lose things that you thought were ordinary and common. You suddenly understand just how essential they are. Ah, screw this. As if I have any choice. The water was ice cold. While washing my hands was not an issue, washing my face and my mouth became a big problem. There was no toothpaste in the bag with which Olga Dmitrievna gave me. I could brush my teeth without it, but there was a small round box wrapped in the towel. Tooth powder. Cute. 1 point for me being somewhere in the past. I washed myself quite quickly, also due to the ice-cold water. Someone was coming quickly, or more likely, running towards me. I turned around. Oh, hi. It was Slavia, dressed in a tracksuit. This girl would probably look good in anything. Pioneer uniform, bikini, probably even a spacesuit.
Hey there.
Ohio, good morning. Yeah. Oh yeah, real smooth.
Why didn't you come for breakfast?
I overslept. I said it as if I was proud about it. But Olga Dmitrievna gave me some sandwiches.
Oh, great then. Don't forget about the lineup.
Yeah, sure. As if I could forget.
Right, I gotta run. Enjoy yourself.
She waved goodbye to me and disappeared around the path's bend. Looks like it's a couple of minutes until the lineup. I should quickly pass by my home to drop off my washing bag and eat the sandwiches and then head to the square. I swung open the door to the camp leader's cabin and rushed inside as if jumping into the last car of a departing train. That was inevitable, but I didn't think it would be that soon. It didn't turn out to be the best idea because inside I found Olga Dmitrievna, who was changing. You should have knocked first. I froze on the spot, trying not to breathe. Finally, the camp leader noticed me.
Semyon!
I looked away immediately.
Have you heard of knocking? Now get out!
Yeah, that was real clumsy. Although I did enjoy the sight. Well, he is a teenager now, so yeah, but still, knock first, regardless of who you're rooming with. It's just rude. Olga Dmitrievna followed me out in a minute.
Here, take this. Now it is your home too.
She handed me a key. I put it in my pocket. Home. Of course, if you disregard how fantastical the current events were, this camp was far from being the worst place on Earth, but to call it home? Just after 1 day spent here? I doubt I'll ever be able to do so.
All right, let's go. We're late.
But what about the sandwiches?
Just eat them on the way.
We were passing along the lines of the pioneers' cabins while I was tucking into the ham sandwiches, and Olga Dmitrievna kept on talking and talking. She was buzzing like a game of Operation with Parkinson's. Really? That's what we're going for here for imagery? Classy. But I cared about nothing but the food.
Understood?
Huh?
You weren't listening?
Sorry.
Today's the first day of your new life as a pioneer. And you should do your best so that it becomes a happy life.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm serious. A pioneer has many duties. Great responsibility is conferred upon him to participate in social work, to help his juniors, to study and study and study again. We here are all like one big family. And you will become a part of it.
Yeah, a part. I'd even sign a party membership card if it could save me from listening to this nonsense.
I hope that after your term here is over, you'll keep the most pleasant memories about our camp. Memories that will last your whole life.
And when will this term end?
Why do you keep asking silly things?
It's a valid question to know how long a term lasts. It seems I won't get any information from her. A shame, really. This world appears to be so friendly, but it never bothered to introduce itself to me. Perhaps now I can take things somewhat easier than yesterday. It seems like I have some unspoken ceasefire with it. It isn't trying to hurt me, but I'm forbidden from asking questions. Of course, this situation isn't a pleasant one, but what can I do about it? A bad peace is better than a good dispute.
The most important thing for you now is to make the best of the time you will spend here.
I'll do my best. Honestly, I was very tired of this conversation. It would be good to know where that here is. But we came to the square. The pioneers were already lined up. What, is somebody not here yet?
Nope, all here.
She looked around at her brave pioneer troops.
All right, go stand somewhere.
Weird. Why did she tell me there are no more sleeping places? Yeah, if there's only 8 of us, how many bunks are there? While the chief was running her mouth about our plans for the week, I stared at the people. A few heads away from me stood Electronic, a little further Lina and Slavia, and at the end of the line, Ulyana and Alisa. Everyone I had met was here. Olga Dmitrievna spoke about some competitions, and I turned my attention to the monument. Genda. I could not remember any revolutionary with a similar name. He had a weird posture, too, as if he was looking around with distrust, maybe contempt or even disdain. Probably some local leader.
Daydreaming again?
Slavia brought me back to reality. Olga Dmitrievna stood nearby.
Still remember the plan for the week?
The plan? I will never forget the plan.
Perfect.
She looked at Slavia.
Did you bring it? Yes.
Slavia handed me a piece of paper.
It's a checklist. Here are 4 tasks to check off. Do it all today. Before you start, sign up for a club. There are some clubs in the clubhouse, and a musical club in the separate building. Then, visit the infirmary. And finally, visit the library. Got it?
Yeah. The checklist seemed like a good chance to find out something since I had to go to places I haven't been before.
Then come on, start right now.
What about lunch?
Don't worry, I'll bring you more sandwiches. The checklist is more important. Good luck.
They departed too fast for me to ask anything else. Missed breakfast, now I'll miss lunch too. You had sandwiches. This ain't good. Maybe I'll manage it in time somehow. Lunch starts at 1 p.m. Then again, if I'll go there, I might miss a place from the checklist. Okay, it's too early to go to the canteen anyway. Oh, do I get to choose? I get to choose. Butts, what was it? Basically, pick a club. library, infirmary, kitchen hall. Okay. Well, if it's too early for that, let's see. Why is music all by itself? Let's check out the music club. The music club, a small one-level building, was located some distance from the other camp buildings. I opened the door and entered without hesitation. There were enough instruments for a whole orchestra here. Drums, guitars, even a piano. I spent some time looking closely at every instrument, wanting to guess the time period they were from, but suddenly I heard a crawling sound coming from underneath the piano. I don't see anything under there. Really, we're getting 2 of these shots in one episode. Is this what this game's gonna be? Okay. A girl. Seemed like she was looking for something. She was standing on all fours in such a suggestive pose that I hesitated to speak first. Excuse me.
Who's there?
She tried to stand up, but the bottom of the piano prevented her from doing so.
Ouch!
She struggled out. Sorry, I scared you.
It's nothing. Oh, you got a checklist? You must be new here.
Yeah.
My name is Miku. No, really. I'm serious. Nobody believes me, but it's my real name. My mother is Japanese. My dad met her when he was building. Well, it wasn't him who was building. He's an engineer. And he was working on a nuclear power plant there. Or a dam, or a bridge, or whatever.
She was talking so fast she swallowed half the word she tried to pronounce. I'm Semyon.
Great. Wanna be in our club? It's only me here now, but it'll be 2 of us then. Do you play anything?
When I became antisocial, I bought a guitar and learned a few chords, but then I forgot about it, since I quit everything that required more than a couple of hours to learn. You know, I wasn't planning to do anything like that, really.
Oh, it's okay. I'll teach you. Maybe a trumpet, for example? How about a violin? I know it all, honestly.
There was no point in arguing with the orchestra girl, since there was only another cascade of words waiting to blast me. Hey, I'll think about it. Can you just sign it for now?
Yes, sure, give it to me. Be sure to come around. I sing too. I'll sing you some Japanese folk songs, or maybe if you're not into that, something more contemporary?
Sure. Thanks. Gotta go now.
Of course, come anytime.
The end of her sentence stayed inside. It might be nice to hang around with a guitar in the evening, but in such company. Oh, good lord. I turned to leave and came face to face with Elisa. She eyed me suspiciously.
Why did you come?
The checklist.
Got it signed?
Yes.
Then move it.
She is cranky. Elisa went inside and I hurried to leave the place. Alright. Oh, so we could theoretically still do the clubhouse and infirmary, library. I'm going to do infirmary, library, and if it lets us still do stuff, I'll do the clubhouse. I'm not sure how time factors into this, so infirmary. Do we need a physical or something? What's the point of visiting the infirmary? My health was fine. The fresh local air clearly did me some good. I felt fresher than usual. But I just have to visit it. I entered. What are we going to get this time? A common infirmary, like my school's doctor room. Oh, hi. A middle-aged woman sat at the table. Obviously, she was a nurse. She gazed intently at me, assessing me while continuing to write something.
Well, hello, Pioneer.
said the nurse without being distracted from her work. Good afternoon, ma'am. I have something.
Sit down, please.
I looked around the room.
On the couch.
I sat down.
Strip.
She said all of it with an even tone. What for?
To inspect, to auscultate.
I'm not familiar with that word. I'm gonna have to look that up.
To check on your health, you know. By the way, my name is Violetta, but you can call me Viola.
She turned to me.
What are you waiting for? Strip.
But I have no health issues. I've got this. I neatly gave her the paper.
Later.
She took the stethoscope off her neck, seeming like she intended to probe me with it. But then someone knocked on the door. The nurse answered unwillingly.
Come in.
In a moment, the door opened widely and electronic rushed inside.
Hello, I fell during the football game. Nonsense, of course. I'm okay, but Olga Dmitrievna.
There was a massive bruise under Electronic's eye. I doubt that this could be a football injury.
Sit down. I'll have a look,
she said to him.
And you, pass me your checklist.
The nurse quickly signed it and continued.
If something hurts, come to me immediately, Pioneer.
I decided not to answer and went out, closing the door behind me. I just actually bothered to look up from the text. She has heterochromia. That's quirky. Huh. A little creepy that one eye is kind of red, though. That nurse is surely something else. Alright. Oh, we missed lunch. Oh, sadness. So I guess time does kind of factor into a degree, so let's wrap things up with the library since we did look at a club. Actually, I love reading, but spending my days in the library under the current circumstances was well beyond my scope. So I'd better hurry up with this checkpoint. It's a nice little library. As I stepped inside, a memory from my childhood emerged in my head. It was very vivid. I'm 7 or 8 years old. I'm at the library with my mother. While she was looking through the books I might need for my studies, I'm sitting in the corner and looking through their collection of comic books. Back then, I didn't know why they had so many, or why couldn't I take some with me. The notion of collective property was something my mind hadn't grasped yet at that age. However, back then, whole concepts of property were pretty hazy to me. This memory seemed even stranger now, while I was standing in this particular camp, where they might have managed to build communism in 3 years. Soviet symbolism was all over the place, and the shelves were full of related literature. Of course, I wasn't planning to read any of these. Getting acquainted with a full collection of books by Marx was the last thing on earth I would think of. Where's the librarian? I didn't spend much time looking for her. I looked closely. Short hair, thick glasses, rather cute face. She was snoring so peacefully I couldn't just wake her up. I can wait. If she doesn't wake up in half an hour, maybe then. Couldn't just sit there, so I took a random book from the nearest bookshelf. Arthur Schopenhauer, The World as Will and Representation. I opened it roughly in the middle and started reading. The life of a man, with its endless upkeep, wants, and suffering, is to be regarded as the explanation and paraphrase of the procreative act,
i.e., the absolute claim of the will to live, and furthermore, it is also the reason the man owes nature his death, and thinks with anxiety of this debt. Is this not the evidence that our existence involves guilt? At any rate, we always exist, from time to time paying with death for our birth. We always exist and alternately bear all the joy and sorrow of life, since neither of both can pass us without some effect. That is a result of our stated will to live. Thus, the fear of death, which in spite of all the miseries of life holds us firmly to it, is really elusive, but just as elusive is the impulse which has attracted us into it. This attraction itself may be seen objectively as the mutual longing glances of two lovers. They are the purest expression of the will to live, in its affirmation. How gentle and tender it is! It wants happiness and quiet pleasure, and mild joys for itself, for others, for all.
Someone knocked on the door. I closed the book quickly and put it back in its place. What a nice habit, knocking on the door. Yeah, you should learn it. I should pick it up. Yeah, there we go. It was Lena.
Oh,
Hi. I smiled.
hi, I just wanted to return a book.
She had the copy of Gone with the Wind that I saw yesterday.
Oh, Xenia is sleeping. I'll come back later.
Another voice. I'm awake. I turned around in surprise to look at her. She eyed me closely from behind her table.
What is it you wanted?
I need you to check here.
Give it here.
She quickly signed the paper and gave it back to me. She had this look on her face that made me want to keep quiet. Lena came up to her to return her book. I thanked Xenia and went out. Oh, well, I guess we get to go to the clubhouse after all, since everything else is done. I went to the clubhouse. To tell the truth, I never really liked extracurricular activities. At school, I used to find any excuse to skip extra classes. At university, I had no interest in participating in the student council. Excuse me. I wasn't interested in boxing, aero modeling, or sewing. So I came here just to check off the box. Nobody was there.
Are they under a table?
I found myself in something like a hut of a junior robot enthusiast. There were wires and simple printed circuits scattered everywhere. Chips, and on the table proudly stood an oscillograph. Is the C silent in that? That's another thing that I haven't encountered that word before. I heard voices from another room, and then two pioneers appeared.
Hey, it's actually another guy.
One was electronic, the other one I didn't know. Hi, Semyon. We've been expecting you. It seems he knows everything about everyone. Why were you expecting me? Well, of course, because you came to sign up to our cybernetics club, didn't you? He didn't let me answer. And this is Shurik. He's in charge here. I assume there's only 2 of you in the club? Well, you could say that it's 3 now. Shurik came up to me and assertedly offered his hand. His face was somewhat familiar.
Welcome to the club.
Yep.
Now I'll show you around. Make yourself at home.
Wow, his black eye really cleared up pretty quickly. Guys, I just wanted to... Always welcoming new members. He said it in such a way that the anthem of the Soviet Union suddenly started playing in my head. It's amazing. I even remembered the words. In the first grade, I had a textbook with the lyrics in the back. No. I just wanted you to sign my checklist. Yep, you sign up to the club, we'll sign your checklist. He grinned. I was getting ready for a long and boring argument, but then I heard someone enter. I looked back and saw Slavia.
Ah, Semyon, I hope they're not giving you any trouble.
She narrowed her eyes, looking at the future of the motherland's robotics industry.
I know these two. They can.
Well, you know... Actually, I just need to get my checklist signed. I decided to take advantage of the situation.
No problem. Give it to me.
Slavia took the paper and marched up to Shurik.
Sign it.
Hold on, we're not done yet.
You're done. Sign it now.
She gave Shurik such a threatening look that it made him lose every possible objection. He wrote some squiggles on the checklist. I thanked Slavia. Then I moved on in a mellow mood. Finally, I got all the signatures. Now, I had to go back to Olga Dmitrievna and give it to her. She was sitting in front of her cabin, reading a book. Doesn't look like a good role model for the perfect pioneer that she was planning to turn me into. Wonder if her responsibilities extended beyond giving fiery speeches at the lineup, scolding Ulyana and getting involved into my moral, physical, and ideological growth. Here, I offered her my checklist. She placed it in her pocket without even looking at the signatures. Great. I could have signed it myself without going anywhere.
Perfect. So, did you meet our nurse?
Yes. For some reason, her question sent shivers down my spine.
Which club have you signed up for?
I didn't. I need to think first.
That's a pity. It's vital for you to sign in somewhere tomorrow.
Of course, sure.
Right, it's time to go to dinner.
About time. I was getting hungry. I headed to the canteen together with Olga Dmitrievna. I'm curious about the semantics here. Why is it always her full name, and the others, it's mostly just the first name now? I looked at the sky and noticed that sun was already setting. On the porch stood Alisa, Elektronik, Ulyana, and Slavia. As we came up, I heard what they were talking about.
Oh god, Lisa's the name, okay. And never call me Dvacha again, or I'll get another one. Or you'll get another one.
I didn't call you that. You're hearing things.
He did. I heard it all.
You weren't even there.
I was, in the bushes. Come on, guys, stop it.
So, it wasn't a football injury Elektronik suffered earlier today. The nurse did a good job. I couldn't even see his black eye. Olga Dmitrievna came up to them and asked about the ruckus.
What happened?
Alisa and Cheesekov.
I didn't do anything.
She shrugged with antipathy and went inside.
Right, dinner time.
I entered last. There weren't too many free seats. Where were all these people during the lineup? There were a few free chairs near Elisa, across the canteen, but I'd sooner starve for a week or two than risk my head near her. There was also a seat near Ulyana, but I'm not into traditional Chinese whatever crawls cuisine. Finally, a free chair near Miku. Looks like I'll have to pick my poison. You mind if I sit here?
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, no, I don't mind. I mean, yes, you can sit here.
I sat down.
Look, it's buckwheat today. Do you like buckwheat and chicken? I don't like chicken. Well, not that I don't like it. But if you'd ask me, what would I prefer, say, stroganoff, beef, or ragout? No, maybe just a hamburger. Or a rump steak. Do you like rump steak?
I'm not that picky about food. And that's the simple truth.
Oh, is that so? Maybe you like Eskimo better.
Dinner was starting to get on my nerves thanks to such company. And I'm not the kind of person that can just ignore someone who's talking to them. Even her. We're at the same table after all.
You know, I once bought a waffle cone and started eating, and then you know what? I found a screw there. A real screw. Can you imagine that? Or was it a bolt? I don't really know. Screws are those that you tighten with screwdrivers, and bolts are those that you turn with a wrench, yes?
If there was a speed eating contest going on, I would probably be in the top 3 winners by now. Right, I'll be going. Enjoy your meal. I got up and headed outside. Miku was saying something, but her words were drowned by the crowd of loudly dining pioneers. I went out and sat on the stairs, waiting for my dinner to settle down a bit. I just sat there and watched night falling. Everything is so lively here during the day. Kids laughing and yelling happily, fooling and running around, constant chatter, games going on, and swimming at the beach. But after dark, the camp changes entirely. The sounds of day were swapped for silence, only now and then broken by crickets chirping or a night bird. The camp was going to sleep. In every shadow you could see things, maybe a ghost, or a spirit of the forest, or a wild animal. A human being would be the last thing to expect. That is how it looked last night, and now. The locals followed their routine very strictly. In the day, the camp was theirs. In the night, it belonged more to the forces of nature than to humans. Someone touched my shoulder. I looked back. It was Electronique.
Let's go play some cards.
Cards?
Yep. I invented a new game. A good one.
Good? Like how?
Well, first we gotta find the cards, then I'll tell you.
Then go find them. What's the problem?
Only Olga Dmitrievna has them, and she won't give them to me.
Why so?
Well, the last time when
Olga Dmitrievna and Slavia came out onto the porch.
Olga Dmitrievna, Semyon just wanted to ask you about the possibility of getting playing cards.
Actually.
For what purpose?
We invented a new game. Not we, you did.
What game?
I need the cards to show you.
I don't like this. Well, if Semyon is with you, then perhaps it's okay.
To be really honest,
we'll go fetch them together, Olga.
Go get the cards with Slavia. Go alone. Well, if they're trusting me, I mean, what the hell? Let's try. If you don't mind.
Sure, let's go.
We headed towards my cabin. Roughly halfway there, Slavia stopped.
Hey, I just remembered. The cards are in my cabin.
Why are they in your cabin? Good timing. And where's that?
It's just down the road. Let's go.
We reached a cabin that, in fact, looked more like a trailer.
Just wait here a minute. I'll be right back.
It took her just a few seconds to come back.
There.
She showed me a deck of pretty worn out cards. These must be marked in and out.
That's unsportsmanlike. What happened to fair play?
Tell me about it. It's hard to cheat when you don't know the rules.
Shall we go?
Let's go. On our way back, I decided to try and find out about something. How long have you been here?
In this camp? About a week.
I see. And where did you come from?
I'm from the north.
That is...
The cold north.
She looked at me and smiled. Looks like nobody in this camp is inclined to answer even the most innocent of questions. I tried to approach from another angle. And what do you like?
What do you mean?
Well, your hobbies.
Oh, I like nature.
Strange, she's not very talkative today for some reason. Nature, I see. Want to become a natural historian?
More like a normal historian. I was always interested in our nation's history.
That would suit her well indeed. It appeared that among all the locals, she was the only one who had nothing to hide. What if she came here just like me and simply could not trust anyone enough to tell? I tried testing the waters. And why did you choose this camp?
I didn't. My parents got a voucher for me, from their work.
Another failure. Well, if you could choose.
It's nice here. I don't think I would choose some other place if I could. Here it's like if you are becoming another person.
That wasn't how I saw it. What do you mean, another person?
It's just that there are so many possibilities. You can learn so much, meet so many new interesting people here.
Now she started to sound like our chief, which raised a red flag for me. I decided to stop with the questions for now. When we came back, Olga Dmitrievna told Slavia,
I just remembered that the cards were at your place. It's okay, we got it. Good, good.
Slavia and Olga went inside. I was going to follow, but someone grabbed my hand. Oh, good lord. Elisa. Her gaze sent a shiver down my spine. Not a nice one. You want something? I asked carefully.
You're going to play this stupid game?
Yes. Something wrong with that?
Nope, nothing.
She was turning to leave, but then slowly looked back and smiled.
So, you play cards?
A little. I couldn't figure out what she wanted.
So only Duroc and that's it?
As if you're a poker star? Well, yes, technically.
Then you don't have a chance.
Why?
Because!
So you know the rules?
Of course.
Well, then you'll have the upper hand. Couldn't see why would we go on talking and motion towards the door.
Why do you keep trying to leave?
Is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
Let's make a bet.
What do you mean?
You're such a slowpoke. The cards, what else?
And what do you want to bet on?
That I'll win.
Odds are likely you will. That's quite a possible outcome. I agreed calmly.
So, are you afraid?
No, I'm not. I'm not big on bets when I don't like my chances.
And you're not big on taking risks, too.
Such an astute observation. I'm impressed. Right. Then
No, you're not.
Oh, what? I sighed in exhaustion. She was starting to annoy me with her rubbish talk about some pointless bet.
If you won't bet with me, I'll tell everyone that you tried to seduce me.
What?
You heard me.
I could imagine her doing this. Don't be stupid. Who's gonna believe you? I've been here less than 2 days. Besides...
Want to try your luck?
Right. And what will happen if I win?
I won't tell anyone anything.
And if I lose?
Slowpoke mode again? I'll tell everyone you tried to seduce me. I told you already.
So you're telling me now that I have to work to prove that I didn't do something when I didn't actually do it?
If that's how you want to look at it.
Not a simple decision. On the one hand, it was stupid to agree. I didn't know the rules and gambling wasn't my thing. On the other hand, she could really make my life hell. Then again, can I even trust her? She can do it even if I win.
So, have you made a decision?
I was going to answer, but suddenly Lena came around from me from behind.
What? Nothing.
Lena hurried inside.
So?
Hell, let's take our chances. Let's bet. I may regret it 100 times. Fine, I'll do it. She smiled. But if I win...
Yeah, all fair, no cheating.
Elisa turned, went up the stairs and inside the canteen. Why am I doing this? Because she can set me up regardless if she wants to. Since she decided to anyway. I let out a heavy sigh and followed her through the door. And we're going to have to leave it there and find out just what this card game is next time round, because I'm out of time. Thank you for joining me, and this is interesting, but there's a lot of characters to keep track of. Like a few more than I'm used to. But let's see where this goes. I'm curious. Yeah. See you all next time, and until then, go be creative. Olga Dmitrievna quickly ran into the house and came out to shove a small bag into my hands. Inside it I found a toothbrush, soap, a small towel, and something else. I did not look too closely.
A pioneer should always be clean and tidy. Let me do your neckerchief properly this first time. Yours is askew.
Oops.
You should do it yourself once you learn how to.
Do we have to? I am going to wash myself now. Yeah, right. It could get hooked on the tap and strangle me.
Fine. Later then. And don't forget about the lineup.
The what now? Pencils, paper, drawing lines. You don't forget such things. What lineup?
What do you mean, what lineup?
She frowned.
It's Monday today.
Weird. By my approximation, it should have been Sunday. Then again, a shift in the day of the week is hardly the worst thing.
Usually we have lineups early in the morning before breakfast, but it's Monday today, so we are having it at 12 o'clock. Don't be late.
All right, but where?
At the square. Where else?
There was no reason to argue. I headed to the bathing place. Oh, it's open. Lovely. I knew I could forget about separate showers and toilet, but at the sight of this malfunctioning symptom of decaying soul, greetings and salutations, viewers. Welcome to another episode of Game Break, an ongoing series where me and my crew take a break from our creative endeavors and play some video games. I'm Charles, coming to you today with another episode of Everlasting Summer. Now, last time round, we managed to get to this weird pioneer camp, meet presumably most of the characters we're going to be playing with for an undetermined amount of time, and not much else. So, let's see what we're in for. Load the game. I was having a dream. It seemed like I was in some kind of vacuum, but nothing around me. But not only around, I was the only creature in the universe. As if the universe had returned to a state of singularity right before the Big Bang. And something was just about to happen. Suddenly, I heard a voice. I could not make out the words, but it sounded familiar. The voice was whispering something gently, as if soothing me. Well, at least that's something. There you go. The person in an extreme situation did fail to notice the elephant in the room after all. But the camp leader noticed it, and last night she told me off for addressing her without proper respect. Screw that. I doubt my appearance affects anything else. If the clock was not lying, breakfast was long over. Oh well, I'll try to find something in the canteen. It worked out well yesterday with Slavia, didn't it? Those memories made me smile involuntarily. The sun was shining brightly outside. A light breeze was blowing. A beautiful summer day. I had not felt so good in the morning for several years. All problems were gone, vanished into clouds that were white as snow. Olga Dmitrievna came out of nowhere. Oh, hi.
Good morning, Semyon.
Morning. I smiled, doing my best to show that, no matter what, my morning was indeed good.
You only arrived yesterday, so I decided not to wake you up, but breakfast... Never mind. Here, take this.
She handed me something wrapped in paper. Judging by the oily stains, there had to be sandwiches inside. Oh, thank you.
Now go wash yourself.
I was about to leave.
Wait a second.
Accordingly, I glanced around, trying to figure out whether I had been thrown somewhere else, but Olga Dmitrievna's cabin looked the same as yesterday. Everything seemed to be in its place, except for a pioneer uniform, which was hanging from the bed head. I fumbled with it in distrust and tried it on. At least this is better than walking around in winter clothes. Wish I could see myself, that I look like a clown. Well, there is a mirror right there. on that thing. And for that, I needed a mirror. I can see it in the picture right here. It's right off to the side. At least a tiny one. No, there's a good-sized one right there. I finally found one on the wardrobe door.
Holy, you have no eyes.
That would be disconcerting. I looked at the newfound pioneer and jumped away in surprise. There was some teenager on the other side of the mirror. He resembled me, but he wasn't me. Where did the weak stubble go? Where were the bags under my eyes? The slouch? That deathly fatigue on my face? It seemed that I had not been thrown back in time or into a parallel reality, but instead had simply changed bodies with someone else. Right, that's real simple. Such things happen every day. I took a closer look at this stranger, and only then I realized that it actually was me. It just wasn't today's me. Maybe the one from between my school and university years. And then I realized. It was the voice of that strange girl from the bus. The girl from the dream. But what is she trying to tell me? Who is she? Hey, it's morning. I woke up. Bright sunlight struck my eyes. It was almost noon. After stretching lazily on the bed and yawning, I started to recall the previous day. In a few seconds, all its events passed before my eyes. The bus, the camp, the local inhabitants. No, that's just wrong. Not this whole situation, not me being here. It was wrong by default. My attitude towards what was happening was wrong. Because yesterday I fell asleep here just like that. And before that I chatted nicely with the local pioneers, even managed to crack a few jokes. How could I act like that in such a situation? I should be frightened, startled by every little rustling, should avoid all contact with the potentially hostile creatures. The last day's events were getting hazy, like I had a hangover. This really feels like the morning after a heavy drinking party. Yesterday's natural, flawless, absolutely normal conduct becomes a nightmare in the morning. A grotesque illustration from the Divine Comedy. Yes, it's just like that, and I can't change the past now. Then again, I had probably assessed the situation and was acting